All right, Bears fans, welcome back and bear down. And today I'm going to introduce you to a young and talented athlete named Nico Iamaleava. This year he was the backup at Tennessee behind Joe Milton, who many of you know I like Joe Milton because of his size, because of his metrics, because of what he has potential to do. But this kid right here, Nico Iamaleava, was the number 3 overall player in last year's high school class. He was a freshman, a redshirt freshman at Tennessee, and he started the game in the Citrus Bowl for them, where they beat number 20 Iowa handily. Now, that doesn't all have to do with the quarterback because they won 35-0. That defense obviously put a shellacking down on Iowa, but he did have a stellar game. In that game, he was 12 of 19 for 151 yards, 1 throwing touchdown, no interceptions, and 3 additional rushing touchdowns. He's already made the freaks list. He was 6'5", 190 to 195 pounds coming out of high school. Now he's 6'6", 206. He's filling into his frame. He's only 19 years old, and obviously we know players can't come to the NFL until they've completed 3 years of college. So he's got to go through 2 more years, which would make him eligible for the 2026 class. And he was the number 3 recruit in the entire class behind the edge that went to Alabama and Arch Manning, who has NFL royalty all over in his blood. But he's already considered a very highly touted quarterback. And the point I want to make with this is that this class in 2026 is already being touted as a very highly rated quarterback class. Now, you hear people talking about this whole Caleb Williams thing, that the Bears have to take Caleb Williams this year because, well, if Justin Fields is a bust, then next year's class isn't nearly as good. We don't know that. We don't know how good Caleb Williams is going to be. All we can ever go off of when you're doing draft profiles and when you're doing estimations and projections is just that. You're projecting what they're going to do. So you hear some crazy outlandish stuff about Caleb Williams being compared to Pat Mahomes, who's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time already, and he's still in his 20s, and it doesn't really match up. All you can do is compare and contrast. Caleb Williams is 6'1", 215 pounds. Now, don't compare these weights. These are 19-year-old kids. These kids are just in college for 1 year. They're still teenagers. They're still developing, which is kind of nice for them to have to be in college for a couple years. But there is a stacked class so far where this class is looking to be very, very stacked. So if the Bears don't work out with Justin Fields, and you hear Kevin Warren talk on WGN about continuity and about how much Justin Fields is developing and keeping him healthy and going into next year already knowing the system, why are we talking about 2025 when Justin Fields isn't a free agent until 2026? So if it doesn't work out in 2024 and it doesn't work out in 2025, obviously we know there's momentum. Kevin Warren even said there was momentum from this year. We know things are on the rise. We know Justin Fields is improving every single year. I know you guys are getting sick of this slide because I've shown it so many dang times. I show it over and over again because it's proof. All those people who hate him so bad, this is the proof. You want the proof? Here's the proof. His poor passer rating is down. His adjusted completion percentage is up. His pressures that turn into sacks are down. He's throwing the ball away when he needs to, and his big-time throws are there. It's proof. He's doing what he's asked to do. Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, the entire Bears organization is around him. So if it's not going to work out, he's going into 2024. If we don't make the playoffs then, maybe we trade him at that point. Maybe not. Maybe we stick with him 1 more year and we continue to build the team. But I don't see that happening. This team is on the rise. We had a couple wide receivers to it. We had a couple linemen. We're stacked, baby. We're headed in the right direction. But if it doesn't work out and we're building draft capital and we're stacking things up, let's say we trade down from 1 to 2 and we pick up a future first next year. Let's say we trade down from 9 to 17 and in the process pick up another first round and still get our needs with Marvin Harrison Jr. or Rome Odunze and Jackson Powers Johnson, get a couple second rounders, get a couple third rounders, get a couple future firsts, and say next year those firsts aren't as good because we've improved and Jacksonville's good and Washington ended up doing decent. Well, if Washington's pick is at 10 and we're already on the rebuild and we've got 3 first-rounders, trade it down for a future first. We got 2 future firsts in 2026. We can use those 2 to trade up and get Nico Iamaleava, who is going to be a star in this league. I mean, guys, the options are endless. We don't need to act. The point of this little video is we don't need to act like right now is desperation time. You don't have to be forced to take a quarterback right now when you've got a solid starter in Justin Fields and you've got a solid backup in Tyson Bagent. Those are a good 1-2 punch right now in this rebuild. They both did great last year, improving. Tyson Bagent is a quality backup. Is he ready to be a starter? No, I don't think he would take this team to the playoffs. But Justin Fields undoubtedly can take this team to the playoffs. He almost did it this year when he missed a couple of games with injury, and the first 4 weeks were filled with the team having to come through some missing players on the line. Tevin Jenkins specifically, one of our best linemen, and rookies adapting, with Darnell Wright adapting to the league. You saw how the team came together and progressed and absolutely took off once those things got corrected. And then we had to miss some time with Justin Fields, and they take some continuity out, and Tyson Bagent did fine filling in, went 2-2 against some of our weakest competition. Honestly, I think if Justin Fields played those games, we could have gone 4-0, if not 3-1. I mean, we honestly could have. And there's a couple games we should have won. We would have made the playoffs. So do I have confidence Justin Fields can take us to the playoffs this year? Absolutely, I do. We had a couple wide receivers. We had a couple offensive linemen. We had a couple core pieces around that too. We had a couple free agents. We had a safety. We had another slot wide receiver. Had a defensive lineman. Guys, this team is not that far away, and Justin Fields is not the problem. So that's the point of this video. There are some great players in the 2026 draft coming up. How good are they going to be? We don't know until this next year when they really first get their first starts. Most of these guys are redshirting. Even Arch Manning now, because Quinn Ewers is going back, is going to be backing him up for another year. How much are they going to split that time? Well, that's another conversation for a college football video, but I think Arch will get a little bit more time. But Quinn Ewers is going back to prove himself, and he's going to be a great quarterback coming out of next year's class. But these guys, this is a stacked class so far for 2026 from every account that you're reading. So don't just listen to him say 2025 is going to be a horrible class. Well, we can fifth-year option, which I fully expect us to be doing with Justin Fields. And then 2026 would be when we need a new quarterback if it doesn't work out, right? Right. And I don't really see that happening either because I really believe in Justin Fields. Call me the fanboy. Call this the fanboy channel. Call it what you want. But there's options. That's the point. We have options. We're in a great place finally with high draft capital, trading for multiple first-round picks every year, having good cap space. This team isn't in a desperation window. We're not like the 49ers with expiring contracts and having a quarterback situation where he's cheap and he's going to turn expensive because all of our other positions are being paid for too. Those are not the same thing. The Bears don't have all those expensive in all the other different places. Go look at the 49ers roster with how much they're paying at wide receiver and tight end and offensive line. We're not paying those same things. And when we draft two rookie wide receivers and draft some offensive linemen and a safety and a defensive lineman, when we draft those places and we have cheap contracts, we're not in salary cap hell like some other teams are. We're not in a tight window where we have to win this year or next year or be done. We're building this long-term brick by brick. It's starting to make sense what Ryan Poles has been talking about by building this the right way. This is going to be a sustained team that competes for years and years to come. We've got seriously a decade window with the way he's building this thing. It's going to be neat to watch. So the Bears have options. And who knows, maybe they sign a Jordan Love type of contract this year with Justin Fields where he's locked up for 24, 25, and 26. And we do go sign Nico Iamaleava to a rookie deal where he can sit behind Justin Fields for a year. And if Justin Fields continues to improve and progress, we sign him long-term and we can have a great quality backup that takes over eventually. Or we can trade this kid away because he's a shining star. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? There are limitless options when you put your team in the position that Ryan Poles has put this team in. It's a great position to be in for Bears fans. I'm really excited. With that, Have a great day and bear down.